They love integrity, right? That is, our thoughts match our actions, right? And they love the let's see, the integrity and when I'll just get those words because I keep forgetting them myself. Yeah. Sorry. What is your intent, young man? As the father says to the man that's dating his daughter. and it's a great parable because, are you here to create a family and go forth and multiply, or are you just,
here for fun? Yeah.
here to do the same thing to the planet? And when the Dutch saw Tasmania, they said, surely this is the great Southland of the Holy Spirit. And they were referring to the prophecy that someone from Tasmania, Australia, would come and bring the Vajra to release humanity from the servitude. I believe when I hopped into that machine to be infused by plasmoids, knowing there was probably a 90% chance that process would kill me. I think it's the fact that you're willing to sacrifice your life for the sake of humanity is the acid test for who the Vajra is given to. So the Vajra was given to me, and according to the Sanskrit text, that responsibility was given because I had the right intent and I had integrity. That is, what I say, I do.
Yeah.
And my thoughts are not filtered, because the despicable thing that's happening, and especially like, I granted that the guru that I met when I came back to America, because I was there by myself for a while, and he sat me down for 4 hours. He said, Malcolm, what you have to understand is that no one can hear you, because it's like a CB radio. You're on a different channel. You're on a different frequency now. No one can hear what you're saying, and you can't hear them. Right?
And it's been true to some extent. Yeah.
And I think and also, and you're ugly.
And
right? Because,
leave yourself alone.
But in this manifestation, I have determined or realized my genetic proclivity. That is, the Tasmanian Aboriginals were cited by Sir Joseph Banks as the closest to the Garden of Eden, that is the closest to God. But then they were slaughtered because their heads were valuable for the museums. So basically, on behalf of my representing the Tasmanian Aboriginal people, which I did, by the way, in Mabo. I was the spiritual leader that represented Marga. And when I went to the Vatican Library, I found out that, my grandmother asked me to claim the throne of Scotland, which I did in 2003, having presented all my proofs to the priests of. But I had to do that to take the Ezekiel 37 staffs back into Israel, to fulfill the prophecy that the prince would return with those staffs to fulfill the prophecy of 1,000 years of peace. And how that happens is he brings also the Vajra. Now, going back to the last ice age, the CO2 level was at 180 parts per million. If it had dropped another 30, all life on Earth would be gone, right? No algae, no. He said, you're going to meet the prophet of nature. And he said, what do you mean, the prophet of nature? He said, you're meeting the prophet of nature. And so he picked me up at the airport. He said nothing. And, when I stepped foot on Singapore, I knew that I had to build an underground reservoir for water, because that was why that Singapore was defeated by the Japanese. They simply turned the tap off because all the fresh water for Singapore was coming from the mainland, and that was going to happen again. So when I put my foot on the ground, I got the designs and the exact location of an underground river that was coming from mainland Malaysia that no one knew about. And so I knew a part of the granite that was not fractured that I could use to build the underground reservoir.